Hey there, this is Devin Townsend, and you are backstage at Bloodstock watching Metalheadz. Tired Metalheadz.
This is Pete from Metalheadz, and I'm backstage at the Bloodstock Festival 2010, hanging out with Devin Townsend. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's been really good. Good day. You played your set before. How was it?
It was awesome, man. I mean, it's like we haven't slept for 50 hours now, I think, at this point. Yeah, we did Brutal Assault, and then we flew here, and then we lost all our gear, and so we had to borrow everybody else's gear, and then we didn't get it set up, and we were 10 minutes late. But you know what, man? It was like I've been saying in the other interviews today, it's awesome to play, man. It's like the best part of my day is being on stage, so like shit like that doesn't even count, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's really cool. So how was the crowd reaction? Because it's been a while since you've been doing UK festivals.
Awesome, dude. It's like, I think it's like, I really, I'm so sorry, I'm so tired, man. I apologize. But I mean, it's like, I'm very comfortable being the goof that I am. I mean, I got no problems. I got no hang-ups about being a goof, right? So I think that, maybe on some level that's like disarming, and maybe it's like easier for me to like connect with like more people if I just am like, okay, well look, like this is how it's gonna be, right? Like I'm just not cool, right? So, and I think that, really it's summer, it's outdoor, it's Ronnie James Dio stage. I mean, people just want to have fun, man. And it's like, shit goes wrong. Yeah, dude, shit goes wrong in life every goddamn day. You know what I mean? Like,
still living your dream, I guess.
Well, dude, even and more so. I mean, I think that it's like, I think at almost every juncture you've got the choice of either dealing with it or sulking. You know what I mean? I got a 4-year-old kid, dude, and like watching kids sulk is one of the most annoying goddamn things ever. And if a 40-year-old does it, then it's like sick, right?
So how is it then, being a touring musician and being a father? Is that quite difficult?
Well, I mean, being a father is difficult, being a touring musician is difficult, being a producer is difficult, like making a deck is difficult, like keeping oil in my car is difficult. I mean, again, it's like I'm just really hung up on perspective today, right? Because it's like from a distance, anything can be viewed as like inconsequential. And I think that, really you see like a lot of shit that goes on in the world, man. And it's just like, dude, we're just sitting here at a metal festival. You know what I mean? It's like, is being a touring musician hard? Dude, it's a hard job, man. Like, there's no question, right? But again, it's like, I want to be a musician, and so that's not the price you pay, but I mean, that's what it takes to do it, right? And I think as well, it's like if somebody wanted to be a filmmaker, there's like, to do it the way that you want to do it to make it like the best it can be is hard to do that too, right? So you got to work your way up the ladder, right?
You're currently working on your new album, Z Square, which is a sequel to Ziltoid the Omniscient, if that's right.
Yeah.
I'm getting that right now.
No, well, the funny thing is, it's like I haven't started Z Squared yet because that's the Canadian Z. But we've got, day after tomorrow, I start 2 records I'm doing simultaneously that complete this whole Devin Townsend project, which is like this 4-record kind of quad thing that I've been working on. Yeah. And like the first 2 were like Key and Addicted, and now the next 2 that I start day after tomorrow is Deconstruction and Ghost. One of them is like an absolutely schizophrenic, like completely unhealthy, heavy metal mental case record, right? That holds itself together by the skin of its teeth, but it does hold it together. It doesn't like fall off the deep end like Alien or Infinity or anything. It's just like, no, because I'm not smoking, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, right? So it's like, I'm just like, okay, I'm stressed, but there's no fucking way I'm gonna let go, right? And then Ghost is like, it's like a real hippie-ish sort of new agey acoustic folk record, man.
Well, that's quite interesting because to vary up the style so much. I mean, after being a musician and touring for so many years, it seems like you're finding more energy now to be more creative than ever.
Well, and again, it's like even what we talked about, like with the show, it's like there's a real liberation in not being the best, or like not being the coolest, or not looking the best, or like, not having like the most chiseled abs or whatever. It's like then you don't have to compete. Yeah. It's just like, well, I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do then, And I think like in another sense as well, I've always had a real polar kind of output, like Synkestra came out with Alien, Accelerated Evolution came out with whatever the heck that was, SYL, and like Ocean Machine came out with City. So there's always been like And so Ghost and Deconstruction are another example of that. And what I've come to the conclusion of is it's almost like one writes the other. You know what I mean? It's like one, by engaging so heavily in one to the point where it like wipes you out, then it's like, well, what do I want to do now? You know? And it's like you go in the opposite direction, it almost like clears the palette, right? So, but again, it's like I really love folk music. I really love techno music. I really love dance music. I really love black metal. I really love, Stravinsky. I mean, it's like it's music, right? Yeah, and as long as it's coming from a place where like whoever's writing it, whatever their music's about, I'm not as concerned about that, but whatever it's about, if it's from the balls and the heart, then I'm down. I mean, it can be like the cheesiest pop song ever, but if it's like, no, he meant it. You know what I mean? That's all that really matters, right? So.
And you recently just said, you recently quit drinking and smoking. How has that affected the writing process?
Well, it's 3 or 4 years back now, right? And I mean, in the beginning it was very difficult because I didn't realize how much of my process was so heavily invested in that routine, right? And then all of a sudden, I actually spent like a year and a half, I didn't write a thing. I wrote just like terrible blues licks for like a year and a half, right? And then all of a sudden I was hung up on this sense of like, well, I wonder if like, in terms of like trying to become a better version of me, I'm wondering if like engaging in certain like note choices or tonalities or whatever is like dangerous, to your, progression as a human, right? I mean, it's whatever, it's like, it's where I was at, right? But what I ended up coming to the conclusion of is like after, I went and talked to this like lady that, they ran this kind of like meditation retreat, and I was like, dude, I can't meditate, man. I just end up closing my eyes and I'm going, oh, cows, what? Pardon? What's for dinner? But I went and talked to this lady, and what she said is she's like, well, what happens when you start writing? I'm like, all this crazy shit comes out. She's like, well, why don't you just do it? And I'm like, well, I'm afraid of like what the intention is. She goes, well, you're sober, right? You seem like a decent enough dude. I mean, it's like, I definitely have my dickhead moments, but I mean, overall, I'm like a pretty decent dude, right? And so when I just started writing, I just didn't edit it. And it just was really liberating because one day I was like, I like techno today. I want to write a techno song. I like metal today. I want to write a metal song. I really like new age today. I like jazz today. I like orchestral, right? Then by the end of it, I just had like a shit ton of music that was all like coming from an honest place. It wasn't like, I want to write orchestral music today, but I really should be writing metal.
And I guess this is coming through now in all the new material.
Totally. And I mean, I think there's a lot of people that like appreciate that, but there's definitely a certain faction of people that listen to the new music and say, well, I don't like it nearly as much as the old stuff. But what I view my music as, it's not like I'm trying to get a hit record. I got 2 records coming out next month, right? Or like in a couple of months. Basically, my music is just an advertisement, an ongoing advertisement for what I do. And there's going to be some people that maybe like one song out of the whole thing, but that one song, they love it, right? And there's going to be other people that hate it all. And there's going to be other people that like love it all, you know what I mean? But basically, it's just like, yeah, just download it and check it out. I mean, it's like, I just want people to hear it, right? So.
I spoke to a lot of bands over the weekends and a lot of fans saying, who would you like to see? And most of the time, their top guy was you, and I was wondering, how does that make you feel, to know lots of people want to see you?
I mean, it's like, it's incredibly flattering and humbling. I mean, I love so many of the bands on this tour. I love Meshuggah, I love Opeth, I love Gojira, I love Fear Factory, I love Children of Bodom, I love Gwar. I mean, it's like, the list goes on and on. I mean, I'm a fan of this. And I think what keeps the scene healthy is it's like, if everybody just likes each other's music because it's shit that they can't do. I mean, I can't write music like them. So, as opposed to me trying to make a shitty version of like a Meshuggah song, I just want to hear Meshuggah because that's Meshuggah. Exactly. And it's like, if I want to hear Gojira, I'm not going to sit around trying to compete with Gojira. I'm just like, dude, let's go listen to Gojira. You know what I mean? And I think that that's important as well. And I think that when people have, a real love for music, then it's like, yeah, dude, I want to just listen to music. The fact that people like what I do after doing it for 20 years, I mean, dude, what can you say? It's like incredibly flattering, right? But again, it's like not one of those things that you really, it's flattering.
It's hard not to let it go to your head at any time.
Well, no, it's.
I'm sure there are some people where it would happen.
Dude, I've been married for 20 years. It's really easy to not let shit go to my head, man. She's just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, rock, fuck, go clean out the garbage, right? So it's like, so I think it's like, like Ziltoid, the character, he's about that part of me that lets it go to his head, right? Because, I mean, there's reality and fantasy, and of course it's reality to like connect with people that enjoy your music or whatever, but dude, it's a fantasy, right? Because a lot of times people have this like exaggerated impression of the person that you really are, and they can kind of construct that, and if you let them down by just being a normal dude, a lot of times people are hurt by that. So it's a fantasy, and it's also a job, right, to like be connecting and engaging with people. But honestly, like the person, I'm a private person, man. I mean, it's like, it's like I got bad hygiene, and I like trees, and I don't like hanging out with people, and it's like I don't have many like close friends because I just don't enjoy talking to people. Like when I'm not like talking about music, I mean, like, dude, if somebody comes over to my house, I got like 3 or 4 friends, and we come over to my house, and once we stop talking about guitars, man, we just run out of shit to talk about. Dude, you check out that new Charvel, like that Eddie Van Halen thing, dude, it's badass, let's try it. Oh, dude, what sort of pickup is that? Blah, 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 blah. So, what'd you do last week?
How's the weather?
Totally. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, dude, it's like, whoa, dude, we gotta get going, right? So I mean, but I'm cool with that, right? I mean, so to let it go to your head, I think, is the death of it, because all of a sudden you end up writing for the sake of what you think people like, as opposed to just like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so.
Bloodstock is one of the only festivals that has a dedicated unsigned stage for new bands to break through.
Cool.
And I'm wondering, what do you think, labels and, perhaps booking agencies and more people in the music industry could do to help more unsigned bands?
Well, what do I think labels could do? I don't know, actually. I honestly believe that labels are like, like unsigned bands. There really is a rite of passage that you have to fight through just to get to the level. And I mean, I'd like to be able to say there's like some easy road or whatever, but really it's like you got to weed out the bands that are either full of like rock stars that are just putting out a demo, because rock stars, I think, is an attitude more than an actual vocation, right? So weeding out the people that just like think their shit doesn't stink when they've released a 3-song demo, and releasing the bands that are like just terrible, And I think that after a while, it's like the ones that stick in there are the ones that are actually pretty good, and then eventually they're going to get the attention of it. So really, it's like for an unsigned band to get the label's attention, you just got to work really fucking hard, and you got to write some good songs, man. Yeah.
That's cool. So can we be expecting you to be back in the UK after Bloodstock Festival?
Yeah, I'm planning to do some serious touring from here on out.
In the fall, perhaps?
Oh, not in the fall. No, I got to finish these 2 records, but hopefully like February, March kind of thing. Yeah.
Devin, I want to thank you for having a chat with me today, and look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in February.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
I'm going to bed.
I know, man.